First of all, wow, athletes come in all forms, and you guys are athletes. I mean, um, I'll start with Lynsey. Lynsey, I mean, why why go through this? First of all,
I like suffering, I guess. No, I actually had just recently gotten a divorce, and I was switching jobs and figuring out how to be a single mom and buying my own house and doing all of these things that I felt like I was accomplishing in my
mm,
normal life. But I just like there was a longing inside of me that was like, I want more. I need to do this for myself. So this challenge was it was like my ultimate test to myself. I made it through what normal life can throw at me. Let's see what Mother Nature can throw at me. So
and Sam, same question.
Tony, I think you said it the best yourself there with it being an athletic feat. Most competitions or races take place over distance, whereas the Naked and Afraid challenge takes place over time as well. So it genuinely is a true test of endurance, unlike any athletic feat that, in my opinion, humans can undertake. And I do very much see it like an ultra marathon or a mountain climbing challenge. It has that similar kind of mental image for me.
The uh, the challenge, though, I think is fear based. I mean, you're overcoming a lot of different fears, and no matter what studies you do, Lynsey, how you prepare, you're never prepared.
exactly. I feel like you could have all the time in the world to study and it still wouldn't prepare you for your real fears and things that you see while you're out there and things that you endure. I face some of my biggest fears out there. I feel like, between snakes and nasty mucky water and bugs and all of my fears were faced within probably the first 24 hours of being there.
Sam, talk to me a little bit about that as well, because looking at me, I can't survive in a coffee shop. So, going out in this weather and what you guys face. Talk to me about that mental preparation that you have to go through.
I think it's a case of being prepared for anything. You can examine climatological data from the country you go into and look at videos and, what animals will be there. But ultimately, it is a case of taking it as it comes. But just to continue from what you said, I think a lot of people, a lot of humans out there in the world would be surprised what we can actually endure if we're forced to, if it comes to that. And I think a lot of people out there in the world that if they attempted this challenge, they might actually surprise themselves. We can go through a lot when it comes to it.
I think when you're there, all of that is now real. All those fears are now, showing up in front of you. And Lynsey, I mean, your challenge, it's it's so impressive that you could think like that, because as you get dehydrated, as you get hungrier and hungrier, that thought process kind of goes into a primal
A hundred
process.
percent. 100%. I agree with you. You completely go into like a primal process. And I feel like you have to put all of your normal worries and things that you think about like completely at the back of your brain to get through it. So you can let that primal kind of take over. Because that's kind of what has to be done. I feel like in a normal situation, like camping or something, like you hear something in the woods, I'm going to be scared, and I'm not going to want to be there. But when you're out there, it's completely different. You just kind of become part of it to get through it.
You come out, a different person. Like you come out shining, I think.
I feel like you actually get time where everything is really raw and it's really bare, and you get time to kind of work through all of these things that seem so petty that are in your normal life. You really get time in yourself to think about these things and kind of strip yourself down raw, and then kind of build yourself back up with like a more powerful, awesome version of yourself. So I definitely feel like every challenge I come out a better human.
Sam, the program itself, Naked and Afraid XL, is getting, more and more challenging as years go on. What do you think audiences are taking away from watching people like you, suffer and go through this challenge?
Well, it's a human instinct, I think, to be interested in suffering and stuff, not for kind of morbid fascination so much, but it's actually it's a survival trait. Crows and magpies will be very interested if one of their murder passes away, so they can avoid that themselves. And obviously, I think people really like to take interest in how human beings deal with extreme suffering and scenarios like that, and push forward to overcome things. And a lot of fans feel uplifted when they see other people overcoming difficult situations. Perhaps they feel that they can deal with situations in their own world and sphere, like Lynsey said, and come out better people themselves as well.
Lynsey, are you surprised at the amount of fans you have?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't feel like I don't feel like I've gotten like bombarded with fans, you know what I mean? I live in a really small town, and so everybody in town knows me, and so that's a little awkward just going to the grocery store. I'm like, I don't want to talk about Naked and Afraid today, guys.
What's the worst thing you've had to eat on one of these challenges?
My first challenge in Africa, whenever I ate those, I call them the poop bugs. They were gross. We found larvae inside of water buffalo dung, and we squeezed the poop out and we boiled them in the water, and we were trying to eat them for protein, and I gag in my mouth thinking about it. They were so disgusting. It was so gross.
Don't tell the Kellogg's people about that one. And Sam, in our final moments, how about you? What's the worst thing you've had to eat on one of these challenges?
It's catching fish in the night at the night time where they're biting best, cooking them as best as you can in the dark with no light, and then the next day realizing that their eyes had like swirling like maggot things in them, and like wondering if you've consumed any of those, and that psychological effect of am I going to have parasites crawling around inside my eyes? Yeah, that was pretty grim.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you both for your time. I'm so glad that you guys have a sense of humor about all this too, because, I think it's just so interesting that people go do this, for themselves to find out what their worth is basically to themselves.
Yeah, cheerfulness in the face of adversity.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. And you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
You
so
too.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.